happening. So I want to begin by telling you about a profound experience I had on my honeymoon, and being corrected by my husband, the second most profound experience. We decided to take a horseback riding tour that I was just dying to go on. And I met my horse, and her name was Stella. The reason I was so excited was because I had this fantasy of me galloping down this beach. We decided to take this tour on one of the longest and most beautiful stretches of beach in the world in Australia. And I just couldn't wait. I was obnoxiously excited, to say the least. And as we made our way, Stella and I connected right away. And as her and I made our way down to the beach, there was a lot of meandering, and the spirit in me rose up, and it was very anxious and restless. And I was like, enough already, are we there yet, is this going to happen? And this is what I saw when I got down to the beach. So 5 minutes later, when the meandering continued, I got the clear message. There was no intention for us to run. This was not going to happen. And this voice in me rose up and said, do you mean you've given me the keys to a Ferrari and asked me to drive it through a school zone? And I was choking. I was absolutely choking on this thought, and I was like, hell no, this is not happening, So I put on my best game face, and I rode up to the instructor, and I said, can I take Stella for a run? And told her about how experienced I was as a rider, which I'm not. And she did not want to let me go. And she said, it's funny though, you picked Stella and she loves to run and she's been dying to get out all day. And she screwed her face up a little bit and said, okay. And that's all I needed. And we were off. In reality, I know I was holding on to the reins. But in my mind's eye, my arms were stretched out. And we were flying. We were joyful. We were expansive, and we were completely unapologetic for our greatness. That moment filled me up in a way I never expected. And I remember thinking, gosh, what a gift I just gave myself by asking a simple question. And I wondered about the people that were on that trip and watched me do it. And I wondered how many of them wanted to do that too. And none of them spoke up. So fast forward 5 years later, I was in a very different place. I was no longer the monkey jumping into the water. I was one of the monkeys on the log, watching. I had 2 small children. I had survived, barely, 2 soul-crushing layoffs, and I was in the middle of a major identity crisis. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. And I felt very lost in all the moving parts of my life. And it took the amazing and very guided words, divinely guided words of a close friend that reminded me of who I was. She said, that coaching thing you used to talk about, why don't you look into it? And something in me listened on a much deeper level. And a very curious, okay, came out. And the minute I said okay, I turned into the monkey jumping into the water. I didn't know it at the time. What I didn't expect was how my life was going to unfold and change. It was in one of my coaching courses that one of my instructors said to me, I dare you to suck, Keri-Anne. You're trying to make it look too good. Swing out, get messy. Maybe your messy is the very thing your client needs to have breakthrough. And of course, I took this and ran with it, much like Stella, back into my life, and I decided to create a mantra for myself. That I was going to spend a year daring myself to suck at things and not care if I suck. So I did this, and I wrote about it, and I shared it with my friends online, and I just had no idea what was going to happen. I essentially grabbed the reins of my life, decided to look inward and ask my questions about what I wanted and what lit me up, and dared myself to go and try them. I ended up changing my life in many, many ways. I I lost 40 pounds. I started a business. It was pretty crazy. But what I know about this process is that, well, as much as, oh gosh. What I know about this process is just like Stella and just like that Ferrari, I would very much like to hand over those keys to you. But you've had them the whole time. So this is where I get to be Oprah. Because you got a car, and you got a car, and you got a car, we all got a I just want for people to take the brakes off of your life and start looking inward and knowing that it's not a bad thing to do, that it's the very thing that can save your life. Very much so. And to take a hard right, get out of the school zone. Get out of that school zone and explore roads you've been curious about for years. Pay attention to what people tell you. Listen to yourself. Make time for silence. Right? What I didn't expect on this journey was how I would inspire others. That I was giving them permission to try too. And we all have that ability. That ripple effect, it's real. And I want to finish today by sharing a powerful quote that I think captures it beautifully by Howard Thurman. And I've added to it, which is, let's stop asking what the world needs, or what we should do, or what makes sense, or how things have always been done. Let's ask the world, what is it that makes me come alive? And go and do it. And be it, and kick the shit out of it. Experience the hell out of it. Let go of the end result. Because when you focus on the win or lose, you're going to win or you're going to lose. But when you focus on your effort, you're going to win every time. Because what the world needs now is people that have come alive. So please, go out there and do this. I dare you.